Hey guys, today we're going to be disassembling a CZ75 SP-01 full-size manual safety. Before we start disassembling it, we're going to make sure that the gun is unloaded. I have no magazine in the gun, as you can see. I'm going to turn the gun around, make sure not to put my finger on the trigger. I'm going to rack the slide back, visually inspect that there is nothing in there, give it a couple more racks. And then I am going to slightly pull the hammer back and pull the trigger and slowly release the hammer. Okay, first, to take the slide apart, we're going to need to remove this pin. So in order to do that, we're going to have to line up these two lines. So to do that, you just got to put your thumb down here, and slowly pull it back to where those two lines line up. And then on the other side, you can grab a screwdriver or the butt of the magazine to push this out. All you gotta do is push it. It's kind of hard if it's a newer gun. Alrighty, and then I'm gonna turn it around, line them up again, pull this out, and that's how your slide should be able to just come off. In order to do this, I have a Cajun Gunworks guide rod and a 14-pound spring from Cajun Gunworks. So the easiest way to remove the full-size guide rod, since it doesn't have any flex, is to grab the spring first and lower it down, and then if the barrel doesn't move, grab it, pull it, and then pull it up, and it should just come out like that. And then you remove your barrel. And this is pretty much how to take it apart, just to clean it, you know, remove that, give that all a wipe down, and give all that inside a wipe down, and you're pretty much good to go. Put the barrel spring back and slide it back, line those lines up, and push the pin through. But in order to go further than this, the next step is we're gonna have to remove the grips. So in order, just a cross Felix screwdriver, put that aside, turn it around, alright. Okay, now from here we're going to remove the magazine guide. All this is here for so that the magazine doesn't hit the hammer spring back here, and in order to do that, you're going to need a punch just to hit that pin out. So you're just going to grab your punch, push it through, and on mine just comes out because this little tab right here, I actually cut it off because it was unnecessary. You could leave it on if you like, but in order to take it off with the tab still there, it's easier to, when it's in here, to pull it to the right and then wiggle it out, and it should all come out just fine. I just cut it off because it's my preference, and it's easier for me to disassemble my gun without having to worry about this, and it's not an essential piece. So we're gonna put this aside with the pin. Try to make sure you keep everything organized so that when you go back to assemble everything, you have everything in order. Alright, to take the loophole out is this pin, but in order to do that, we're gonna have to depress it. So you can either have a gun block or the table or anything. You're gonna slightly press it and punch it through, and it should all just come out. So here's your little hoop ring, the spring, and your pin. Okay, and now we're gonna put this aside. And then the next thing to do is we're gonna take our safety off right here. In order to do this, you're gonna need to turn it, and there is a spring right there. that the little lever is gonna have to be pulled up so that it can release the safety. Let me see if I can do this. So we're gonna grab this little pick. Oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna grab this pick and we're gonna try to move it underneath the spring. And once you get it out of the way, it's a little tricky, but you'll be able to pull your safety out. So just, and that's how you take your safety. And then, in order to take the right side safety off, we're gonna push the sear down slightly. We're gonna rotate this all the way up, and it should just pop right out. But be careful when you take off the safety that there are two retaining pins that are very tiny and can be lost very easily. And after that is out, your sear should be able to just pop up and out. And this is your sear. There you go. Now we're gonna put that aside. All right, those pins that I was telling you about are right here. There's one. Let me see if I can get it to focus. There's one right there. That small little pin right there. There's one right there, and that one does not have a spring. That one can just fall out, so be careful. And on the opposite side, for the left side, you have this spring with this safety detent, I guess you can call it, on the left hand side of the gun. So you can use needle nose pliers or a pick or anything you like to take these out. Let's see if I can let it to focus here. There we go. So I'm just gonna take this out right here. You might need to slide it a little back so that it can come out of its little groove. Now let me try the point. Okay, and there it is. Okay, this is that little piece that's easily lost, so be very careful if this is your first time taking this apart. Okay, we're gonna set this aside. Okay, and on the opposite side where this one is, this one's a little bit easier. You can put your thumb back here, your finger, or anything, and then with the pick as well, slightly push it back, and it should just come right out. Okay, see, and this is another small piece that can be easily lost. Okay, we're gonna put that aside. Okay, next we are gonna take out the whole hammer assembly, and in order to take out the hammer, there's a little detent holding the pin into place, and to get that one out, a little flathead or pick again, you're just gonna push that up, turn the gun, and it just falls right out. There's no spring. All this is here is just so that it holds that pin into place. It goes into that small hole right there. All right, so we're gonna put that aside, and then we're gonna flip the gun on the opposite side and push it through here with our punch, and we're gonna push it through. Should be easy. This one can go one way, so should be easy putting it back together. I'm gonna put that aside, and then your whole hammer mechanism comes out. Sorry. Just FYI, the trigger pin and the hammer pins right here, they're staked. So unless you're gonna upgrade them or change it out, I suggest that you don't remove these two pins, well, these 3 pins, so that it doesn't walk its way out, especially over the trigger, because if you remove this one and use the same pin, there's a chance that as you're shooting it, that pin can walk out and it'll literally make your gun unusable because you will no longer have a trigger. So I will not be removing the whole trigger, and I will not be removing these, but I will do it in another video because I am getting the Cajun Gunworks Pro package for this gun, and I will make another video on how I replace all these parts and how to do it. But for the most part, this is pretty much it on how to fully disassemble the bottom, besides the magazine release. And in order to do that, all you have to do is take a flathead, unscrew that. There's two springs. One spring down there, the one that goes straight down, is to actually hold it into place, and I have the other spring. Yeah, that's pretty much how to fully disassemble full-size SP-01 manual safety, except for the trigger and the hammer. So after this, we're gonna put this aside, and on the slide it has a pin as well right here. See if it'll focus. There's a pin that is also staked that holds in your firing pin. So I won't be taking this apart today until I get my Cajun Gunworks part, because it comes with the replacement pins for everything. So I will make a separate video on how I add all the Cajun parts to my gun. But what we can do for here to disassemble a little bit further is to take the ejector off, and that's fairly simple. It's through this pin. You want to go through the top and not the bottom, just a little bit easier. And if you mar it or anything, I'd rather it being on the outside than the inside, because who knows, it can cause something, or over time it can cause it. So what you want to do is hold your extractor so the spring doesn't just shoot out. Just use your pick or anything to push it through. Let me get a pin better. Punch, just go, and you should be able to just punch it through. It's a little hard for mine. So I'm gonna go and hammer this in a bit. Okay, so we got it through. We're gonna pull this out, and then your extractor, and your extractor spring is right there. And it's the same way to just put it back together. You literally just put the spring back if you have removed it. Grab your extractor, put it into place. And this is where it gets a little bit more tricky, because you kind of need 2 to 3 hands for this. And one way I learned that it's an easy way to put this extractor in is you want to reinsert your barrel and your spring. And what that does is stops the extractor from going forward. So then you're gonna push with your other finger, push it in, and you're gonna use something to push the pin back in. See, this is where it gets a little bit more trickier, since it's easier when you have help with this one. Let me see if I can get my little rubber mallet and start hammering it in. Okay, as it's going in, it's holding the extractor into place, and we're gonna get our punch, but use the bigger end and just give a little bit more taps, just so that it doesn't more it up. You want to make sure it's completely flush and there's nothing sticking out. And there you have it. Well, and that's how you fully disassemble your CZ75 SP-01. Thank you for watching. If you like this, please leave a comment down below. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.